Okay, I think I'm live. I'm live again, folks. I was just live a second ago. My son would do this show live too. I'm in the live mood, but this show is strictly about General Hospital. Hi, I'm James Lott JR. This is GH Mini Spotlight. Okay. Oh, excuse me, GH Dirty Deeds. My other show, I'm James Lott JR, the host of this and GH Mini Spotlight. And I've been talking about this subject and covering it as it's been happening, giving you my reaction. So I'm going to talk about it right now again. So if you want a chat room, you want to talk about it, come on in. The water's fine. It's a safe space to talk about it. And everybody has different views and stuff, but we're going to talk about it all. So I've been following this with interest that this Ingeo Rademacher thing. And why am I so dark? It's like so dark. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Ingeo Rademacher thing is, Ingeo Rademacher and Steve Burton both been fired from GH for not complying with the vaccine mandates happening for ABC Disney employees. And I did some videos on this already. Thank you so much, everybody who's been tuning in. They've done really great for me. But a lot of discussion has happened, which is what I want. I want discussion to happen. I want people to talk about it. And I've been hearing varying opinions. And so this is a free country. Tell me your opinions. I have no problem with that. But I tell you my opinion. You have your right to tell me your opinion. So that's how this works. So hi, Rodelli. So I've been a person who believes in. I always say this before I talk about it. I believe in vaccine mandates. I believe in mask mandates. I believe in science. For me, it is about science. I remember when AIDS came out, a lot of men didn't want to use condoms. They said they weren't 100% effective, even like towards pregnancies or whatever. But they were told to wear a condom during sex because that could actually help not spread HIV. Whether you have it or not, there's a barrier in front of you, right? To do that. So to my knowledge, this is from things that I've heard and researched and heard, that if everyone gets vaccinated, then the chance of anything spreading would go down tremendously. Vaccines, of course, are not cures. That you can still get the COVID virus, but it's usually from unvaccinated to vaccinated, they're saying. So for me, if everybody gets vaccinated, then nothing should be spread with each other. If you're all vaccinated, it should be nothing spread between us. So that's my first, before I even get to anything else. That's what I believe. That's what I feel. I am vaccinated. I have not got the booster shot yet. I'm going to set that up, but I've not gotten the booster yet. But I am vaccinated in terms of the 2 shots. That's how I feel. The second thing that I always feel, and I've said this on previous shows, is that when it comes to work, contracts and work, another separate thing also. If a job says that you have to wear a certain uniform or perform a certain task or have certain mandates or rules, doesn't matter if there are laws and the big things, but there are mandates and there are rules for a job. A job can set them. You have a right to say yes or no. You have that right. Now, if you say no, then they have a right to say goodbye, you're fired, you can't work here. But there's no slave labor. You don't have to do what everybody says. I quit a job because they basically talked to me a certain way and said I had to take it. And after 8 years, I said, no, I don't. And I left. And so that's the choice. We have choice. We have choice. So the latest is Ingo is suing General Hospital. Now, I want you to tell you, I have reached out to Ingo. Don't know if he has got a message and asked him to come on the show and tell his side of the story. I have no problem with it. And so I'm so pressed. Is what we do. I would talk to him plainly and ask him what's going on, what he feels, that you guys can see where he's coming from. Because I know there are supporters of his and detractors. But he came out with a statement, which I'm going to read right now, because I'm going to try to read the statement and I'll comment on it. He says, and I quote, "I am entitled to religious exemption against mandatory vaccination for COVID-19 on the basis of my deeply and sincerely held moral belief that my body is endowed by my Creator with natural processes to protect me, and that its natural integrity cannot ethically be violated by the administration of artificially created copies of genetic material, foreign to nature and experimental." That's what he wrote to Disney's HR department on October 11th. He also claims it's his right to privacy also. So, here's the deal. This whole religious exemption thing is very interesting because I said it before and I'll say it again, and you can tear me apart for it. I don't really care. I'm curious, how religious are you? I've never heard you talk about religion before in my entire life. Maybe you have. I've not heard you ever talk about it. There's some actors who are Christian and who are openly Christian and who talk about it. Jen Lilly is one of them. One of my actors openly Christian. They talk about it. And so if she had said something like this, I would be totally like, oh, that's in line with her. She really, really she's Christian. So I know some actors who won't take certain roles, who won't do certain shows because of their beliefs. And it's been very well documented and talked about. And I've seen on Instagram stories and Twitter, some actors who go to church every Sunday, who worship. So I mean, so I'm like, there's some actors who totally make sense. So I always question, I question, how religious are you? Or is this just a way for you to find a loophole to not get vaccinated? And so if you really are, if he really is super Christian and he really believes this, okay, I'll give that to you. But if you're not, and you're just saying that to get out of something, then I have a problem with that. Obviously, there's not the truth. Now, I've always been told, of course, you put things in God. I'm Christian. I have a doctorate in divinity. I'm all about all this stuff. But I'm vaccinated, instead of fully vaccinated. You put your trust in God. Yes. He says never to worry. He will not forsake you. He'll be there for you. Now, there is a protection psalm that I say every morning in part of my prayers. I meditate and pray every morning for an hour. Psalm 91. That's where you talk about being protected from outside elements, all that stuff. But you also have to do your part. My pastors always talk about how you have to do your part also. You can't just go, oh, well, I'm God's gonna take care of it. I just won't do anything. You just have to watch. You have to look both ways before you cross the street. You should never have your stuff just hanging out of your pockets. You should watch where you walk. I mean, like, you have to do your part also. I've had people tell me, well, I want a job. I'm like, looking, but God will give it to me. It's like, well, God wants you to go out and look for a job still. I mean, he'll point you in the right direction if you listen to him, but he wants you to get a job. So with this situation, I do agree that not all things can be held by medicine. We have a big opiate addiction. We have pill addictions, prescription drug addictions. So some things are overprescribed for certain things. As a person who had a severe case of Bell's palsy, my face was paralyzed, there wasn't much they could do with me by medications. It wasn't. There are other therapies, and I looked to Eastern medicine. I looked to holistic medicine in ways, and that helped me. So I agree there's some kind of like mixture of both. I don't believe in all of one and all of the other. I feel like there's some kind of, you got to find it. You have to find it. To the mixture of what can you do that's home or holistic, what's also with medications and things. Vaccines have been around for a long time. There are people who, probably didn't want the polio vaccine, but they got it. When we were kids, measles, mumps, chickenpox. I didn't get any childhood diseases. I got vaccinated at 5 years old. Didn't get any. And this is back in the early 70s. I was vaccinated. So I was vaccinated back then. I got mumps at 29 years old in the 90s. That was something, a fluke of some sort. But I mean, at 20-something years, I didn't get anything. So there are vaccines that do work and do help. And this one has been around, to my knowledge, been around for a long time, and they positioned it in that makes it work for this. I do agree there's been mixed messaging from our officials in many ways over the last couple of years when it comes to the vaccines, comes to masking. They tell us one thing, tell us another. I'm not a politician, so I don't know what the answer is, but there's something that really needs to be kind of just like the public has had a hard time trusting. I understand the segment of the population doesn't trust. Look at that also. But I believe the vaccine is good. I believe it's for us to use. And I think, again, Eastern America has a right to not believe in it and not get it. But there are consequences. And I go back to the business part of it. The business part of it is They have, and people fought me on this in the last video. It doesn't matter. They can say, no, you can't work here. They have people to protect. They feel this is their position. They have people to protect. These sets are small. I said before, they're small sets. There's a lot of people on there. They're trying not to spread where they can spread. Someone mentioned in the last video I did, well, all the just get tested every week. Everybody just get tested. Everybody just get tested and tested and tested. And I'm like, do you understand? I work in Hollywood. I've got tested a million times. It's not fun. That test, that shit up your nose all the time, that's not fun. It gets annoying after a while, and it bothers me. Like, why not get something that you'll do that? Like, why is it you get up early in the morning, go get tested, shove the thing up your nose, wait for results? It's like, why can't you just get vaccinated and you eliminate all of that? It's a lot of work to have that going. And that's extra employment, that's extra things going on. I mean, it's just more stuff. Everybody's vaccinated, you don't have to worry about that for the most part. Yes, we don't know people are doing this on their own and whatever, but the vaccination thing so far, most of the cases of COVID are from unvaccinated people. I know some folks don't believe that, but that's they're saying. I have friends in the field and they're telling me this. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if I don't think he's gonna get nothing out of this. This is just all just, whatever. But that's either. Ingo knows damn well he will not win his lawsuit. I feel Ingo is at odds with people at GH. There was a trend on Twitter for him to be fired. The whole cast was silent. So there's a whole issue with Ingo pre all of this. The last 6 months, there were a lot of things against him being said on Twitter about certain behaviors. His videos, it was just his page. I always say, my page is not a democracy, it's a dictatorship. Whatever I put on my page is on my page. We also got to stand by it. And apparently he stands by his stuff on his page. He says certain things. There was some trans stuff. There was some other stuff he said that was very inflammatory for people. So he was already, as Mel NYC is saying, getting side-eye. He was side-eyed from a lot of people. Now, Nancy Lee Grahn, who I love, and I've met and interviewed, is very open and vocal herself. She's put her foot in her mouth several times. I apologize, she has. But in this case, I'm on her side. She believes in the vaccine and the vaccine mandates and was pushing for safer work conditions. And I think there's nothing, how can that be wrong? People are saying, well, she just opened her, she snitched on him and hope not. And I'm like, the whole point is that she did that good. I'm like, that's the point. If she's bringing to attention to her bosses that there are people there who are not following and complying, that's what they get. Because obviously they're openly telling people they're not complying. They're not like they're hiding it. Steve Burton and Ingo Rademacher both have said they're totally open about their stats and why they. And I'll give Steve credit. Steve was, to me, much more classy about his exit than Ingo has been. Know what it's about. And I like Steve. I know Steve. I like Steve. And I think I give him credit for that. But it's like the Ingo thing is a little more tenuous. But people need to stop blaming Nancy Lee Grahn. First of all, she's not a producer or anything. If it's strictly contracts and what he signed up for and things like and mandates, it's between him and his bosses. Anybody can say anything, but it's between them. And it seems to me they weren't trying to get him fired. They weren't letting him go on the show, but he was still on the show. He had a major storyline. So, even though all the off-camera jinx, and see, I said this once before on another show, I wish I didn't know all this stuff sometimes. I miss the days when I don't know people's personal life sometimes. And I don't want I don't want to know it. In some ways you want to know, and in some ways you don't want to know. I don't want to know all their business. I really want to know everything, what they do. I don't want to know. But then part of me does want to know. It goes. I go back and forth on that one. I always miss the days where things were a little mysterious, and they came on, did their job, and we enjoyed their character or not enjoyed their character, and that's it. I also want to know what they think in person. I don't want to know what you think, but then of course we need to know what people think, because if they're thinking something that's not positive, you probably should know it. I know it's crazy. It's crazy, folks. It's crazy. My feet are freezing. I need to put some socks on. It's like 50 degrees here in Inglewood. And my feet, I'm wearing flip-flops at the moment. I think I need to put some socks on. My feet are freezing. This is live, so hold on one second. You're like, what's James doing? I got some socks. My feet literally are I just washed these two. They are freezing. Oh my God, I got big feet too. I wear a size 14 shoe. Oh, there. Oh, much better. Oh, much better. You know, I don't know Ingo. I've never met him personally. I've never interviewed him. I never had anything against him or for him, so to speak. I mean, Jackson's the character that was very instrumental on General Hospital history. Also, he was great. I thought he was a great Thorn on Bold and Beautiful. I thought they cut that too short. But I know a lot of folks they're just done with him anyway. But he has a lot of supporters too, folks. Not everybody thinks the same way. It's very interesting. Everybody has their sides to this, and just like regular life, everybody has sides to it. There are folks who hate Nancy Lee Ron. There are folks who hate Steve Burton. There are folks who hate the characters. Soap Twitter, which is very popular and famous, is only a small part of the world. You know, I have people I know who don't even not on social media, and they watch the soaps. And don't even know how this is going on. They're like, "What's going on? What's going on?" So I remind myself that the online component, which is semi-important, of course, is actually a segment of the population. They're not the whole population who watches the soaps. So I'd be curious to hear people who are not online, if they hear anything, what they think, and how they feel about it. But I think this is, I don't think Ingo, and again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't think Ingo's going to get anything. I don't think it's going to work. But some tension here, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. Is he trying to get back on the show? If that's not the case, he wants to be sued when he gets back on the show. Does he want compensation for being fired? Be curious to see. I'm going to be following this. I'm going to be following this. I don't know the contracts, the actual salaries on GH. I don't know. I don't know their stuff. Sorry, I don't. Yeah, I'm very. They say my size 14 shoe, my deep voice. Yeah. Yes, my big feet get on my nerves, but I know for a lot of people that's exciting. Yes, I'm not into feet, so I was like, ugh. But yeah, that's funny. But no, I think I just think I'm gonna follow this. I'm gonna continue following this and seeing where this goes and how this works. Because I'm curious, because maybe, who knows, maybe some will change. Who knows? It may affect change in some way on there, but he's going forward. And Stephen Colbert, of all people, last night on his show ripped into Ingo. And folks might like, who's this Ingo guy at nighttime? Because he doesn't know anything, he's not famous outside daytime. And he went to town with a very clever take on the situation. It's on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. But yeah, Stephen Colbert is great anyway. So, but I thought, wow, Ingo made it to prime. Made it to late nights. So he's getting the attention. But I said I would actually like to have Ingo on the show and talk to him. And so I wouldn't mind having him on and say, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's go back and forth. Just tell what you think. Do you think he'll work again? I'm not sure. I still have a feeling Steve will be okay for some reason. I think Steve Burton will be fine. But I don't know about Ingo. It's a good question. Steve is a much bigger star. We ever say that of sorts. I don't know. That's a good question, Nicholas. I have no. We'll see. But they probably won't hire him if he's suing a show. That's too much a liability. If he's suing GH, then a lot of studios are not going to hire him for anything. So that's a very good question. I have no idea. Well, I guess we'll see. He pops up somewhere else. So, everybody, that's all for today. This is GH30Ds. I just want to come on. I thought I'll just do it live. I don't want to record it. I'll do it live. GH30Ds is on all audio streaming platforms. We're on YouTube at JLJ Media. Support the homie, as my friend says all the time. And I'm getting like notifications. Why am I getting notifications? What's going on here? Oh, okay, yeah, I know that already. Okay, and maybe think about something was up. We had not heard. I was curious about what happened to B&B. Yeah, he left B&B. I don't know what happened. Just all of a sudden, him and Katie, I liked the relationship. They were married, and he just left. So I thought they went him back for General Hospital. I think something happened. They went back. I don't know what happened. So, but anyway, yeah, GH mini spotlights are on Facebook. It's our page. Thanks to all the Facebook groups on GH. So let me post this on their pages. They are wonderful, like GH General Hospital Fanatics and all of them. Thank you. And this Sunday, GH Mini Spotlight will be back for our final show of the year of 2021. And you want to join that at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Me and Frank Moran will be talking it out about what's going on.